Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, June the 7th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Josh Crash Davis, and we are here to talk over the Major League Baseball main slate for this evening. And we have to start out, Crash. Let's just get it out of the way. What in the hell was going on yesterday with the weather? Games on, games off. What a nightmare that was.
Yeah, it really sucked because, as you know, I was on Hunter Green and he ended up being one of the top pitchers. And I know you were on Michael Wacha. And it's just like, do we play this guy? Do we fade this guy? What do we do here with this weather? Is this game going to play? And I liked Jose Ramirez, and it was just a mess. So
it was. I mean, we always try to follow the weather super closely. And I'm going to give a shout out to two of the key guys I listen to every day. I know we both do. And that's Kevin Roth at Roto Grinders, and then Mark Paquette, who does post a really nice DFS breakout weather-wise on Twitter. So, give those guys some love. They're both really good. But, man, they struggled yesterday, too. They were all over the place just like we were. I mean, and I can't really blame them. I mean, granted, weather guides are supposed to get a little bit closer to getting the weather correct, but there's no perfect science to it. I mean, I watched yesterday very, very closely. I kept looking at the, well, I'll tell you this, Crash. I'll never forget it. My freshman year of college, I took meteorology as a course, as an elective, and I loved it. I thought, damn, maybe I want to be a meteorologist. I loved it that much. So It's so funny because through the years, I've watched the weather very, very closely. I look at everything, the wind, if not just if it's going to rain or not, but like the barometric pressure, all the stuff that they say affects things in baseball and in football, any of the outdoor sports.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've got a little bit of an edge there because I watch it closely. So yesterday, reading Paquette stuff, reading Ross stuff, and then watching the radars in Cincinnati, in Kansas City, and Cleveland, it just, trying to figure out what was going to happen. I mean, there was rain on top of places and then no rain, and then little gaps, and then stuff would pop back up. It was just absolutely impossible to figure out. And then the thing that made it all worse was poor old Kevin Roth. He retweeted some dude's tweet, everything on the internet is true as soon as it posts. And it said the Kansas City game was postponed. And I just took it like a dummy, like it was real. And I, put that in there in our Discord for our members saying, sorry, looks like we're dead because we had all those players from that game. I mean, it was just a Three Stooges type day, Yeah,
it was not a fun night, that's for sure.
So what about tonight? Do we have the weather issues to worry about today?
I don't think so as much because it looks like the main game that we're going to have to worry about is going to be the Chicago Cubs and the Baltimore Orioles game. Okay. And I don't really have a lot of interest in that game. So I think that we'll be able to stay away from the weather for the most part tonight.
Well, I sure hope so. I know there's a few pop-up spots that I was a little concerned about. Cleveland being one of them again.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that could be a little bit of an issue. Baltimore could be a bit of an issue. I know there was a slim chance at Kansas City, but now I'm paranoid with Kansas City.
Right.
And then I think wasn't there one other East Coast game?
Well, you mentioned Cleveland. I don't think that game's going to count because they have an early game. It's a doubleheader. They have an early game, and then the late game, DraftKings says that they're not going to count the points towards that game, and it's not on Fanduel or Yahoo at all. So
okay,
I don't think we have to worry about that.
We don't have to worry about it at all. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the other thing too that's been quirky lately. Fanduel, Yahoo, and DraftKings trying to do these unique, bizarre slates. That was the other thing yesterday that really just caught me wrong is all of a sudden out of nowhere, FanDuel decides to lengthen the slate by 8 minutes.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I know. That was crazy.
It was so weird. So I hope everything's back to normal. Again, for our members, we'll be watching that very closely, and we'll be posting everything in there, including the radars and everything else like we normally do.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a part of what we're doing, it's a great day to do it. DFSCoachTalk.com. You can sign up for as little as a 3-day pass for $10. Reason today is a good day is because we've got in the next 3 days, it's going to be amazing. We have great baseball tonight. Tomorrow, of course, we've got baseball. We've got the NBA Game 3. And then we are going to be releasing lineups for Thursday's RBC Canadian Open and golf. So a little bit of everything, if you join us, and we certainly would love to have you. We had a bunch of new members the last few days, so welcome to all of them, and really excited to get back on the winning track after yesterday's. I'm not sure what to consider yesterday, but we're going to shove that under the rug and move on. So
yeah.
All right, my friend, we are diving in as we normally do. I'd like to thank PrizePicks for being our presenting sponsor. Go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code CoachTalk, all one word, and they will match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100 on your first deposit. And we know PrizePicks is a great, great place to build a nice bankroll. So we encourage you to give them a try. And we are going to start with our pay up pitcher. And before you give yours, I have a quick quiz for you. Are you ready for this one?
I hope so.
All right. One of the pay up pitchers today is 0-2 in his last 3 games, and he has given up 18 hits and 9 runs, including 3 homers. Do you know who that pay up pitcher is?
Yeah.
Who?
Justin Verlander.
It is Justin Verlander. So in case you were going to pick him, I figured I better read these stats to him because I think he'll be the most popular pitcher, as he always is. Yeah. Can he go 8 innings and strike out 15? Yes, of course, at any moment. But for anybody that didn't realize, he's had a couple of rough starts. I thought I'd point that out to you. So pretty weird stats when you don't put the name with the stats.
Yeah. And I'll get to that more here in a minute.
I will too, because he's going to also be my fade pitcher, so I beat you to it.
All right. So my top pay-up option, and there's a lot on this slate. You could probably go with 5 different guys and feel really good about it, honestly. So my favorite is Kyle Wright. He's 10-5 on Fanduel, 10-1 on Draftkings. Going up against Oakland, they have the 6th highest strikeout rate. They've scored the 2nd fewest runs this year at 3.27 runs per game. They're tied with Detroit in their last 3 games for the fewest runs per game at only 1.3. Outside of a game against Boston this year, he's been very solid. He has one of the more favorable matchups on this slate. Also like Alek Manoah and Carlos Rodon, Tariq Skubal, but I landed on Wright. But like I said, there's several options that you could pay up for on this slate.
Definitely. And I think he's a good choice. He's been one of my guys I went to early in the season here that's done well for me. I'm going to go with a late night game here and go Carlos Rodon. I just think he's in a spot. He's due for one of his dominant games. He hasn't been crazily good this year, if that's a word. I don't think it is, but we'll make it one. He's 4-4 with a 344 and a 1.25 whip, which doesn't sound like anything, but he's had some tough matchups in there, and he's had a few bad breaks. All those numbers point to him, having a real good stretch here. He does have 70 strikeouts, and we know that strikeouts, you live and die by him in DFS. That's just the way it is.
For sure.
But, there's no question that there's some risk involved here. In his last 4 games, he has not gotten anywhere close to his numbers. So you got to be a little bit afraid. Only 17 DraftKings points at Philly, only 4 at Cincinnati. But again, that's a tough place to pitch. Reasonable 16.1 at San Diego. St. Louis absolutely blew him up. And the reason his numbers aren't good are because he gave up 8 earned runs in 3 innings in that one game. Yeah. So they're saying, Coach, you're reading us numbers. Why the hell would you take him? Well, here's the reason. He's trending up. He's had a lot of really bad luck other than that St. Louis game. And St. Louis hits everybody. But the game before that is the key. He pitched against Colorado on May 9th, 32.7 points on DraftKings, even bigger on Fanduel and Yahoo. 6 innings, and had 12 strikeouts. So,
Yeah.
you look at Colorado's lineup, it sucks. I think Rodon is going to go under-owned. So it's a combination pay up and also really a situation where you're getting some good leverage here shout out Mike S, our good luck charm on leverage. But I think it's just a great spot for him. And I think it's in against a team that I just really don't think can hit the ball very well. I don't like their lineup. I think there's enough strikeouts in there, and I'm going to like, I think, the ownership that I'm going to get with him as a pay up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because you talk about him as a pay up because on DraftKings he is, but on FanDuel, which is what I was looking at, he's more almost of a borderline value at 9,900.
Yeah.
He's I think the 5th or 6th highest priced pitcher on FanDuel. So
yeah,
I actually looked at him.
Even worse on Yahoo, man. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody's going to be afraid of him because he's 10-3 on DraftKings. So his ownership on DraftKings is going to be small.
Yeah.
Because he's, the second highest priced pitcher.
Right.
And so nobody's going to go there. They're going to go to the guys around him. But then if you're going to run it out, and like I do at 9,900, like you said on FanDuel, and 42, that's like mid-level or lower on Yahoo.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really good value on Yahoo. I couldn't get away from him, so I had to use him as a value pitcher, which, like I said, as the 5th or 6th highest priced pitcher on FanDuel, he kind of is a value for a pay-up option. But as you mentioned, he had his best game of the year against the Rockies earlier this year on May 9th. And they've been the 3rd worst offense away from Coors. They scored the 3rd fewest runs per game, and he struck them out 12 times. So the other pay-up options on this slate, like Manoah, they have not struck out a lot. The Royals haven't struck out a lot. So that's why I didn't want to go to him. But, I just have a good feeling about Rodon tonight, and he's going to be my value pitcher. The other pitcher I would look at as a true value would be Jose Quintana against Detroit. I think that's a decent matchup. But I'm going to go with Rodon for my value play.
I like it. I love my value play today, and usually I limp in with an SP2 that I'm just trying to squeeze under the wire. But I've had really good success on this podcast with my SP2s lately, also with yesterday with Waka Waka, which, nobody wanted. But I like Jameson Taillon here, man. He's been unbelievable. People are not talking about him. He's 6-1 with a 2.30 ERA. 0.90 whip. Now, granted, 44 strikeouts doesn't burn down the house, but listen to those numbers. And then he's translating it into DFS points. He went against the Angels. That's a dangerous team, 28.8. He went against Tampa Bay, can be dangerous, 30.8. He went against the White Sox, who have some meat in the middle of that order with Abreu and company, 24.2. And in those games, he pitched 8, and 7 innings. You don't see guys going that deep that often. And in those 3 games, 1 earned, 0 earned, 1 earned. So again, you're not getting 10, 15 strikeouts like some of these guys are capable, only 5, 5, and 7 in those last 3. But when you combine the total output there of what he's producing, he's really been flown under the radar for the 39-15 Yankees. How about that? 24 games over 500 already.
Jeez.
That's insane.
It is.
And the Twins, they've got some dangerous bats, but they also have some strikeout bats in there. Kepler and Sanchez and some of those guys, they'll strike out with the best of them. It looks like Buxton may be back, so that's no party. But the bottom line is, he's pitching well. Minnesota's playing okay.
Right.
I think it's just a great matchup, and he's 9,400, 9,400. I'm sorry, 9,500, 9,500, and a fair 46. So I think he's a terrific SP2. And if you really want to get frosty and make him your SP1 and then go even cheaper, you can do that. But he's going to be in most of my lineups.
Yeah, Minnesota, they're in the bottom half of scoring at home. So
right.
Yeah.
They win games usually, but they're low scoring.
Right. So I guess that brings us to our fade pitcher.
We're both, and go ahead. You could sell it because I already read my stats on him. So let everybody know why Coach Talk is fading the wonderful, the great, the incredible Mr. Verlander.
He's 10-9 on FanDuel, so he's the second. I think he's the second most expensive, actually, and then he's the most expensive on DraftKings. It's always tough to fade a guy like Justin Verlander, but in 3 of his last 4 games, he scored less than 40 fantasy points using FanDuel scoring, and he's going up against Seattle. He just faced them on May 27th. He gave up 6 runs on 10 hits in 6 innings. So with this many pay-up options, this kind of a slate, I just don't see a reason that we have to go to him, especially since, like you said, he should be the highest owned pitcher on the slate. And so, yeah, I'm with you on the fade of Verlander for sure.
I mean, people just auto click his button, I get it because that strikeout potential's there, but I'm with you, man. I agree. All right, let's jump to our BVP play for the day. What do you have?
I almost went with Ty France to kind of go along with the whole Verlander fade, but
that'd be gutsy.
I'm going to go with Brandon Crawford. He's 3,300 on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. He's 344 with 11 hits and 32 at bats against Herman Marquez. He has 8 singles, a double, a triple, and a home run. So
very
I like
nice.
the numbers here. He's going to be at home. The Giants offense has been outstanding this year, especially at home. So I like Crawford as my BVP play.
Solid selection. I am going to go with a guy that in the last month has now turned into, are you ready for this? My favorite player in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
Yordan Alvarez. He is just incredible. This dude, I mean, he's got power. He, like you wouldn't believe, he can hit to all fields. I mean, he just, every time he's at bat, I sit up and take notice. And I'll tell you what, he is really a great talent. And I think don't be surprised if he sticks his nose in that MVP race as it goes, this season goes on. Mm-hmm. But I'm going with him against Chris Flexen. I've been picking on Flexen. I used to pick on Flexen and KBO.
I know.
When we did KBO.
Yeah.
So if I could pick on Chris Flexen and KBO, how's that bring back memories? I certainly can pick at him here, and it's in Houston. That ballpark, man. There were 3 home runs hit to right field.
Oh my gosh!
I think the ballpark I played in high school, they would have been outs. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe that all 3 of those, like the one that Tucker hit.
Yeah,
it looked like a pop-up.
I know. Yeah,
he swung with like one hand. It was ridiculous, but. So Alvarez against Flexen there. He's already faced him 10 times. I know, small sample size. We believe in that here at Coach Talk. But he's 4 for 10, cool 400. 2 of them were bombs, 5 RBIs. I mean,
yeah,
the guy's locked in. He's going against a pitcher I don't have any respect for. And I think that it's a great spot. So he's definitely my BVP play today. I'd like him to make him my HR play, my PrizePicks play, my super draft play, I don't know.
Anywhere you can play and play.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and he let us down last night because we had the Houston stack. I mean, we were all in on Houston, and he didn't get it done for us.
He'll step up today. He'll make up for it. Don't you worry.
Yep, I like it, Coach.
All right.
In fact, I'm probably going to put him in my hybrid lineup because you know how I do when I put Aaron Judge in there. So
yes, steer away from Judge and go to Alvarez. That's the new thing.
I like it.
No, Judge is a monster. All right, how about your HR call? I think let's keep HR after BVP, and we'll move stacks before PrizePicks. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Live on the air adjustment.
Yeah. I don't like to say it, but I'm going to go with Bryce Harper. He's hit a home run in 2 of his last 3 games in Milwaukee. He's 309 against right-handed pitchers. He's hit 10 of 13 home runs against right-handed pitchers. I think Jason Alexander, who had a strong debut against the Cubs, is going to struggle against Philadelphia, and I think Harper will be a big part of it.
Isn't Jason Alexander the name of the dude from Seinfeld?
Yeah. Yeah, George.
Jason Alexander's George, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I have new respect for that pitcher now that I put that together.
But he did. He looked really good in his
He
debut
did.
against the Cubs. But I just think that, they don't have a lot of strong lefties in that lineup, and the Phillies do. And, Castellanos is really good against right-handed pitchers. So, and Hoskins, I just don't like it. So,
Well, you better check your text there because the Brewers fan club 3 out for the day. You can't be picking home run against your Brewers. What are you
I
doing?
know.
You're trying to reverse jinx, aren't you?
I'm trying to win is what I'm doing.
All right, I'm going to go with the guy that I just, it's weird because he's only got 1 home run against this guy, but it's a double dong type scenario for me. I don't like you, Darvish. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Starling Marte. And so I'm going Starling Marte for my home run hit. He's 5 for 13 against you with a homer, a couple extra base hits. He's been locked in. Mets are playing ball, man. They're not joking around this season.
I know. Yeah,
And,
they're second in offense.
Yeah. Out of nowhere too. I mean, they weren't that good last year by any stretch. So, I'm going with Marte to knock one out of the park on you and you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Stacks.
All right.
Second most important thing of the day.
Yep. So I like, of course, up top, you have the Yankees against the minor leaguer Cole Sands as the projected starter.
Yeah.
I like the Blue Jays again. They're going up against Brad Keller. He's allowed 4, 6, and 4 runs in his last 3 starts.
Yeah.
Toronto is tied with Philadelphia for the most runs per game this year in their last 3 games. And then the Giants I like as well against Herman Marquez. Jock Peterson, Yastrzemski, Flores, La Stella, mostly lefties. And then my GPP stack, I like the Phillies, as I mentioned, against Jason Alexander. And I also like Atlanta against Cole Irvin. They faced them earlier.
I think you named every team in the league. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a bigger slate, so I went with a little bit more. But Atlanta faced Cole Irvin earlier this year. They had 6 bats hit 500 plus. So Acuna, Albies, Darno all hit 1,000, 3 for 3, and then Riley, Ozuna, Duvall were 2 for 4. So
Atlanta's one of my buy-ups, even though I didn't or stacks. I'm sorry that I didn't pick any of their guys in my individual things, but as a unit against the lefty Irvin, like you said, Acuna, Swanson, Ozuna, Riley. Arno, and Albies, there's 6 off righties right off the bat that could smash them. And then you got Contreras and even Duvall. So that's rough for Irvin. I know Duvall sucked this year, but he's the kind of guy that can homer from the 8 or 9 hole pretty easily. So if monster stack for Atlanta, is it not a bad play today? I'm, like 5, 6 guys if you can do it.
I don't won't get high ownership either, I don't think. So
I don't know. I think you're going to see a little bit more action on Atlanta than normal, but I think they're a great stack for sure. It's sort of boring to say the Yankees, but I'm saying the Yankees anyway because the way they're hitting, they got everybody back in there. So, it means a lot. I mean, you look at this projected lineup today, and it makes a lot more sense. You've got some of the bums out of there that we're filling in. Now it's LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Donaldson, Gallo, sort of a bum, but and then the guys that shouldn't be batting higher, like Hicks and some of those guys, are down at the bottom again. They have, they stuck. Who's the third baseman that I keep playing for some reason because he's cheap and he can't hit the ball out of the infield. Who's the begins with an A? Who's the third baseman? Andujar, Miguel Andujar. He's back on the bench where he belongs. But anyway, that's a dangerous team, so I definitely like them. And then I like Houston. I mean, it's mainly because Chris Flexen, 2-6 with the 455, needs to go back to KBO days and get back over there and pitch because this lineup with Altuve hitting that bomb first at bat last night was awesome for us. Our thumbnail guy. Altuve, Brantley's not doing too great. Bregman's actually slumped a little bit, so be careful there. He's about ready to burst out of it, but then Alvarez, and the thing I like about them is the depth of their lineup with Gurriel down at the bottom and Tucker, Pena, McCormick. He hit one last night.
Yeah.
So just a lot of depth. You don't get many batters off against that squad for sure. So I think they can really take advantage of flexing.
I like it.
All right, man, let's do prize picks and get on out of here so we can just study the weather all day now that we're meteorologists. And you heard my college secret that I was wanting to be a meteorologist for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That changed pretty quickly. Although I'll tell you, it's not bad. You can have a job and be wrong at least 50% of the time and still keep your job. So
yeah. Where else can you do that?
Exactly. All right, what do you have for prize picks?
So I'm going to go with the under on Jason Alexander, under 92.5 pitches thrown. He threw 97 against the Cubs in 7 innings. I don't think he's going to last that long against Philadelphia. It's a much tougher matchup. In the game before that game, in his debut, the Brewers had extended their bullpen and they needed a longer start from him. And usually when you have a younger starter like that, if they struggle hardly at all, Craig Counsell's pretty quick to pull him. So I like the under there at 92.5 pitches thrown.
I put that GIF up all the time with George with the bat.
Yeah.
We may have to use that as our thumbnail. That'd get a couple of looks, wouldn't it?
Yeah, really.
People would have to put it together. Jason Alexander. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm going with Carlos Rodon, 36.5 over for fantasy score. Again, I think just he goes deep. He's been going deep in games. Give me 8 innings out of him here against a Colorado team that's pretty bad. I think he can give 40 fantasy points today. I really do.
Okay. And I'm going to go with Alek Manoah over 38.5. I think that's a very attainable number for him against that Royals team.
Okay.
Even Ross Stripling last night had a solid start. So I think that Manoah definitely can do it.
Yeah, Kansas City is not good.
Yeah.
I'm going, of course, Yordan Alvarez, since I need to buy an Astros hat. Although those uniforms they wore last night, the Space City or whatever. Oh, my Lord. They look like a bunch of cartoon characters. It was terrible.
Terrible.
Horrible. Yordan Alvarez over 8.5. I know that's on the high side, but I'm not going to let the 8.5 scare me because he can do that in one swing of the at bat like Altuve did yesterday. So Alvarez over 8.5 fantasy score.
Okay. I'm going to go Bo Bichette over 1.5 total bases. I think that's very attainable against Brad Keller, who's really been struggling. I just like that number.
He crushed that homer last night, man.
Yeah.
That little dude got some pop.
He does.
I'm going to stick Starling Marte, sticking with my picks, my home run pick against Darvish, and I couldn't stay away from him because it's only 7. And I thought, man, that's 7 for Marte. I'll take that all day long. So over 7 fantasy score, Starling Marte.
I like it, Coach.
That is it, my friend. We have got it. Hopefully today is a way better, more sensible day with weather, and that we don't have all those crazy things that are going on. Catch all our podcasts today. This one will post, and then if you listen to this one, dial up the other ones. We have a PGA podcast coming out today for the Thursday morning action. And then we also have the infamous now, or famous, or whatever, 3-man booth or 3-woman booth, some people call it, with you and I and Deb coming up for the NBA Game 3. I even have my Celtics shirt on for that. That's coming up later. And I'm not a Celtics fan, but, I have a green shirt that is exactly Celtics colors. So, you go with it. But we'll be up with that later, so check that out. And if you want to make sure you don't miss them, this is the chance. Hit that thumbs up on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, and then hit the little alert button. If you hit that alert button up in the corner there, it'll let you know every time one of our podcasts is premiering. There's going to be 3 of those today. So keep your ears open. If you're at work, sneak in those AirPods, whatever you need to do. and catch some of those pods. Again, thank you to PrizePicks for the presenting sponsorship for this podcast. Go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code CoachTalk, all one word, no space, and they will match you dollar for dollar, all the way up to $100 on that first deposit. That is it, my friend. I think we got everything in. We've got our plays today. We're watching the weather closely here. Come join us, be part of the Coach Talk family, catch the rage. We have had a great 4 or 5 weeks here now. We're definitely catching our strides.
Yeah.
We almost had a monster takedown. Mike S. with basketball NBA last. He was one play away there at the end, and just missed out by, what was it, like a 1.5 or something of the Millie Maker win. So we got all kinds of stuff going. We were even hot in NASCAR. How about me just cheering on NASCAR like a maniac this weekend? So Joey Logano. Here I am now. I got to get some Logano wear.
Yeah, you got to get a little pennant or whatever there in the background.
Definitely. My next thing is going to be MMA. I'm gonna start watching that too. Why not?
I mean, that can be pretty exciting. I've watched some of that before. It can be pretty exciting.
The one time I did play it, this was a long time ago. You'll remember. I mean, it's probably a year ago. The guy came literally at the beginning of the fight, like 3 seconds in. He came flying in with one of those knee kicks.
Yeah.
And hit the guy right in the chin and knocked him out. And that was my guy that got knocked out. So.
Oh, no.
He didn't even make it to the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
So I was a little sour there for a while.
You'd have to sweat that one out. That's for sure.
No, that was not a sweat.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you. Great job today as usual. And now tomorrow's your day off. So I'll be podcast solo, Han Solo tomorrow. So we'll be loading up against those Brewers. No, I'm just messing with you. You're loading up against the Brewers today, so I don't have to do it. So look out. All right. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in MLB, DFS, and PrizePicks.